you'll remember them. Like, you'll always be their mom and just... What's up, fam? I'm so excited for this video. I feel like it's been a long time coming, but we are finally doing a little postpartum slash motherhood Q&A. I feel like this like headband thing, whatever the light is right now, is like glowing. It looks so neon, but helps keep my hair out of my face when I'm doing my makeup. And I'm gonna do a little get ready with me while we chat about all the things. So I did a little Instagram poll with you guys, as all the YouTuber girlies do, saying like what you want to know, like what postpartum questions you have, what even like birth questions you have, and honestly just motherhood overall. I also threw in there like life in general questions that I could answer, because if there was anything fun I wanted to answer it, but I am going to focus on motherhood, but I'll still definitely throw some of like my own previous personality, whatever, myself. I'm still myself even though I'm a mom. Obviously everything changes, but we'll throw in some random questions there too. So let's get cozy, grab a coffee. I wish I had one, but Arlo just went down for a nap, so I was like, I gotta film this before he wakes up, so I don't have time to make a coffee, sadly. But anyways, let's find this story poll real quick. Okay, since we are doing a little get ready with me, let's start off with just a fun question. Even though I just said I'm gonna focus on motherhood, let's start off with a non-motherhood question. So someone asked, what do you ask for at the hair salon? And while I answer this, I'm gonna do my first product is this Typology. It's like a tanner drop, essentially, like a self-tanner that kind of like slowly but surely makes my face get darker throughout the day. And sometimes if I know I'm not gonna be able to be in the sun a ton that day because I have a lot of work stuff, like today, I like to put it on as just kind of like a prep. It's definitely not supposed to be like an underbase for makeup, but I like to put it on just so that like my makeup kind of starts looking darker throughout the day. Whenever I do wear makeup, like this helps as just a base so my face is getting darker throughout the day, if that makes sense. So the first question, like I said, was what do you ask for at the hair salon? And I usually, whenever I do get my hair done, I have not gotten it done in like a year and a half, but when I do get it done, I just ask for like a little bit blonder. I've gone almost full platinum before, but I've always had like this darker, my natural hair when it's not summer is kind of like this dark, dirty blonde. That's kind of always been a tint underneath, and I'm still so tempted someday to go like full on platinum, but for now I just ask for highlights and a trim. I've also done forehead bangs before, but I kind of stick with curtain bangs if I'm just doing like a typical cut. I do like to do something fun so it actually looks different, so I'll do curtain bangs if I'm not like full on feeling the forehead chop. I've done it twice and I love it, but it's like a year-long commitment to growing them back. So anyways. Okay, and the second product that I go in with is also Typology. It is this like concealer. I just kind of dab it underneath my eyeballs and any blemishes I have, which I can't even see that good because I'm using the viewfinder of my camera to do my makeup, so yeah. Okay, now let's get on to things. I'm also not doing these in any specific order of like birth, pregnancy, motherhood. I'm just like going through them and picking ones that I like. But someone said how to survive sleep regressions, and this one, honestly, Arlo is like a good nighttime sleeper. He does not nap well at all. That's why I'm like, if he wakes up, I'm gonna have Casey go get him because I doubt he will nap the whole time I'm recording this. But sleep regressions, we're actually kind of just coming out of, he did his like 4-month sleep regression early, like 3 or 4 months, and he would wake up like 6 or 7 times a night, which is like not normal for him, other than like that first couple weeks of life as like a brand new newbie newborn. He didn't sleep good because like none of them do. But anyways, we honestly just like with breastfeeding, I don't co-sleep, but I'm very tempted to co-sleep. When I ask people like how do you survive a sleep regression, that's their top answer is like co-sleep. So obviously that's like everyone's individual preferences. I kind of wish we co-slept, but it just would give me more anxiety than if he was in a bassinet. So we don't just because of that, but I'm not like against it, if that makes sense, if you do it in like a safe way. But anyways, that's one tip that I have gotten. And then secondly, like I think there's occasions when it has been like really bad, especially in the newbie newborn season where I like hardly slept at all, that I would take a nap with him during the day. But since I am back to work full time and jumped back into like content creation, taking brand deals very quickly, postpartum, I couldn't always nap when he napped. Like I had to work when he napped. So if you're a working mom and everyone says like nap when the baby naps, you can't always do that. So I'm sorry, but I think just trying to like make the most of the sleep that you get. Like the second Arlo goes down, I always want to like go to bed. Even if it's like 7 p.m., I just like have anxiety, which I'm sure will fade away as time goes on. But if I'm not asleep when he's asleep at night, I'm like, I need to be in bed because I know I'm going to be out feeding him during the night. So I'm like missing out on the amount of time that like I could be getting sleep, if that makes sense. So just sleep whenever you can. Know it's only a phase. Enjoy your coffee, but like also don't over caffeinate, and make sure you're fueling your body. One thing postpartum too is don't like jump into workouts too crazy. If you're not sleeping, don't work out that day. Like do some like stretching, a walk, whatever, but like don't try to go for a crazy run or lift weights or whatever if you're just like not sleeping and not feeling good. Just my tip. I feel like for hormones, it makes you go crazy. Okay, and the next product I'm gonna go in with is, she's not non-toxic, but I mixed this Neutrogena foundation with a little bit of my Typology serum foundation, because the Typology is not like a full makeup, it's more of like a serum, but it does like cover your face, if that makes sense. But when I have a little more blemishes or I really want like more full coverage look, I'll mix a little bit of this in. I don't like using Neutrogena products and need to find something that is more like non-toxic, but I just haven't yet, so we're still doing the Neutrogena every once in a while. Like some days I would just do this, but I don't feel like having to reapply later, and sometimes I have to do that whenever I just use the Typology one. So someone asked about if I'm exclusively breastfeeding or not, and then like my goals on that, like how long I want to breastfeed and like tips for that. First of all, I'm a first time mom, so I don't know if you want like all my tips for breastfeeding. I'm sure like once I get to like 9 months or a year, like I'll have better tips, and I'm, praise God, like having an amazing breastfeeding journey so far. So like I guess I can give tips, but I will say like obviously I'm not like the most crazy vetted experienced person. It's been like 3 or 4 months of breastfeeding my first baby. But I do know lots of other moms who breastfeed, but my goal, I don't have like a goal of like I want to do 9 months or a year, crazy whatever, 2 years. Like I don't have a goal with him. I love breastfeeding. It's definitely like there's parts of it that are hard, but I don't think it's hard. Like now how it's going is not hard. When he's cluster feeding, like it's hard because like you're just tied down to the couch so much, and that's like really hard because it's hard on your body to just have to sit and lay around so much in weird positions. Like when he is having sleep regressions, feeding more in the night, that is definitely like hard on my body, if you will. I'm gonna go in with this little Merit blush stick next, but I don't know, I love breastfeeding, and I think I will just keep doing it until he weans himself, unless he like wants to breastfeed until he's like 2, then I might just be like, okay, no bro, we're not doing that. But also like once we try again for another baby, which I think will be a while, just because my body's still like not feeling at all normal postpartum, and I want to have a little bit of time without my pelvic dysfunction before I get pregnant again, in case I get it again really bad. So I don't really have a goal. I just want to keep going until he needs it, if that makes sense. Like hopefully a year-ish or more, but if he weans himself before that, he does, and there's nothing I can do about that, obviously. But I just believe there's so many benefits in the breast milk that I want to like give it to him as long as I can, if that makes sense. And then, okay, next question, what kind of jogging stroller do you have, and do you like it? So we have the Bob Gear Wayfinder stroller, and I can link it in the description for you guys. But it is a running stroller, and I love it. I am not running postpartum, most definitely not running with a stroller yet, because that extra weight, like my body does not need. I'm just going in with the e.l.f. like gel from Target or wherever you get your makeup. Super simple, this is all I do to my brows. But we have that stroller, and I love it because the wheels are really big, so you can like wheel it on the sand and the beach. It's still hard to wheel it onto the beach, but it's a lot easier than strollers that don't have like the bigger wheels. Like running strollers have these huge wheels because you have to turn quickly and stuff. It also has like a brake on it, so I really like our stroller. It's also huge though, so if you're wanting like it as a travel option, I'm pretty sure it says like travel stroller because it breaks down, but it doesn't even fit in our smaller car. It only fits in our van. So I want a smaller stroller just to be able to pop in and out of the car quicker. Like we're looking at the Nuna, Pippa, travel, whatever, for like when we go on trips and stuff, because that would just be nice. But I'm going with this little Typology lip gloss now. But yeah, I do love it, and I'm very excited. We have family who use that stroller for a running stroller, and so I'm excited when I can actually run postpartum to be able to like use it. It just obviously now is like I use it for walking and going out and about. But someone asked what the hardest part of postpartum has been or was for me, and I don't know, there's so many like different aspects of postpartum that's like hard. I don't know, at first I literally said like postpartum is not hard. Not because I wasn't like hard physically, but I think just because I was so insanely happy with Arlo, I was just like, this is like so much easier than like the postpartum I had with my miscarriages and just like infertility in general. And just like it was like the happiest season of life, even though I was in so much pain and like not sleeping at all. like laying on the couch 24/7 breastfeeding. Like it's hard, but it was like a beautiful, amazing kind of hard, if that makes sense, which I know it doesn't always feel that way, and I had many breakdowns, so yeah. But the hardest part initially was definitely my stitches. I had a 2nd-degree tear like back and then up with muscles, like interior tearing as well. So I was just like in a lot of pain for a very long time. I feel like the stitches didn't even come close to feeling normal until almost 8 weeks. Like they did get better around 5 to 6 weeks. So if you are like torn and you're like, when's it gonna get better? Like I promise it gets better. Once you have 3 or 4 weeks, it starts to really like, you see a jump in it healing every week. You just have to be like easy and not overdo it. I also didn't get in the ocean or bath or anything until they said I was allowed to, because I was nervous about like re-tearing my stitches. But anyway, stitches were the worst part initially, and then Arlo's like, I'm gonna text Casey like, can you go get him please? I hear him in our room, he's asleep in there, because I'm in the nursery recording this because it has amazing lighting. But anyways, then I feel like week 4 to 7 breastfeeding was the hardest because he cluster fed genuinely 14 hours a day. Like I was locked and loaded to the couch. Felt like if I went on a 10-minute walk, it was like a spa day. Like I just didn't get to leave the couch. He like cried 24/7 if he wasn't on my boob. And it was just like so hard. I literally would like yell at Casey like, I can't do this anymore. Like I can't breastfeed, he's not getting enough. Because I feel like babies always cluster feed, but this was like psycho amounts I've never heard of, and for literally 4 weeks. And so I was just like, I'm not making enough for him. Like what is wrong? Like I'm taking all supplements, I'm eating so much, I'm not working out at all. Like I should totally be making enough milk for him. Whatever. Anyways, and it just took a while for my supply to triple, I guess. Maybe because he was sleeping okay at night, so he just wanted to cluster feed all day, which takes longer than if they do it at night, apparently. I don't know. But that was the hardest part, 4 to 7. And now my SPD, my pubic symphysis dysfunction from pregnancy, came back. I don't know why. It's a very big bummer, but that's kind of the hardest thing right now is that, and then I have some other lingering kind of like TMI things postpartum I'm not sure I want to go into, but just like some complication stuff. I'm actually seeing like a surgeon next week for something going on, but I'm just really praying that we don't have to have surgery. It's not like a crazy big deal, but yeah, just some lingering stuff. I feel like depending on your circumstance, you either have like such quick recovery postpartum, which I felt good at like 6 weeks. I went on a jog and all kinds of stuff, but I just feel like everyone's journey is so different postpartum, and you have to give yourself grace to know it's not forever. Just try to enjoy this time with your baby, even if like hard things are going on. But those are some of the hardest like things for me, I feel like. But thankfully my baby is healthy, and that is something. Being wrong with your baby is like a level of like hard. Like I'm so thankful that like I am not experiencing when Arlo's healthy, because like I just, some heartbreaks for moms who are in the NICU and just like going through things. I think going through the miscarriages, I had this little small taste of what it's like when your baby's not okay. Like obviously completely different scenario, but just like this worry that is inherently in you as a mom, and just this like sadness if there's anything wrong with your baby is like awful. So postpartum, I think, felt easier to me than I thought it would, because Arlo was healthy, and I was just so grateful, even though it was not easy and there's lots of painful things. Someone asked, has breastfeeding helped with weight loss, or does it make things harder? And I don't really know. I still weigh like almost exactly what I weighed when I left the hospital with Arlo. So like I lost 10 to 20 pounds when I had him, because he was like 7 pounds, placenta, your extra blood, everything. But then I still had like 10 to 15 pounds of just like extra body weight from breastfeeding and pregnancy, yada yada. So if the angle changed, it's because I had to put my battery in and it moved the camera around, but I think it's about the same. So anyways, back to what I was saying. Essentially, I like initially when I left the hospital weighed pretty much at the same that I do now, but I think like crazy, I feel like, because I'm like 4 months postpartum. But I do think like I've started to feel more like toned lately, and I think that might be because I'm able to go on longer walks again finally. I feel like at around 3 months I could start, 2 to 3 months, I could start going on longer walks again, which just helps. Getting a tan helps, it's summer. And then also like I'm not really working out a lot. Anytime I work out, it's on the vlog. So if you're seeing this, like, you work out all the time. The 1 or 2 workouts a week I do are on the vlogs, because I'm like so excited if I get to work out that I want to film it. So I promise I'm not working out as much as YouTube might seem like it, because of those complications, stuff postpartum that's going on that I mentioned a minute ago. But I feel like breastfeeding is now helping with the weight loss, because you do burn a lot of calories breastfeeding, and I feel like my breastfeeding hunger has dwindled. I'm still like really hungry, like exponentially if I like forget to eat a meal or anything. Like I'm like, I have to eat like hangry, which I'm not normally like, and I notice like my hormones going crazy if I don't eat enough, whatever. if I'm just busy and stuff. But initially postpartum, I literally feel like I gained a couple pounds like the week my milk came in and stuff, because I was so hungry. Like I would eat 1,000 calories probably just in the course of like 8 p.m. to like 6 a.m. Like I was 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Like I was starving. I would eat lactation balls, granola bars. Like my mom made muffins. I would like chug milk in the middle of the night. Like I was just starving. Like that sounds disgusting. Like you're eating peanut butter and milk in the middle of the night. Like ew. I don't care if it's gross. Like I was so hungry, like so hungry. And so I feel like that made me honestly gain a few pounds, because I was sitting around breastfeeding 24/7, like locked and loaded to the chair. You guys, like I told you, 14 hours a day. So I feel like until around 10 weeks, I honestly felt like I looked worse than I did in pregnancy, because everything was just like all my muscles that I kept working out in pregnancy were turning to like, I would see more cellulite or whatever, which like I was fine with. I was like, this is a season, but it didn't like feel good, if that makes sense. And I still have definitely things I want to lose, like 5-10 more pounds, whatever. I know will gradually come off with walking and breastfeeding, I think. And if I could run, like it would come off so quick, but I just can't run yet. And I'm not making weight loss like a goal right now, because I do feel like fairly secure in my body, praise God. I'm not like desperate to like get this postpartum bounce back or anything. But yeah, I don't feel like breastfeeding has made me lose any weight so far. Everyone says like breastfeeding helps with the weight, and I think it is starting to, because like I said, I'm starting to feel more toned again. I may have lost a couple pounds. I don't like weigh myself a psycho amount, but until you hit like that 12 to 14 week mark, I feel like they're just cluster feeding so much and whatever, that's kind of like you can't really feel super fit because you're having to eat a ton and sit around a lot. So if you're breastfeeding and you feel that way, it's okay if everyone says the weight will just come off, float off with breastfeeding. It might take a while. It just depends. It might come later. So just give yourself grace. It's not about bouncing back or losing weight right now. Someone said, any tips for optimizing your time and finding balance with a newborn? Also, y'all are probably like, you just stopped getting ready. I'm pretty much ready. I'll put on like one or two. I think I'm going to do some bronzer real quick, and then some highlighter. But I don't like to wear mascara. I'm a very minimal makeup girly. This is my Merit stick. I'll have these linked in the description, all my Merit products. I love Merit so much. It's like my favorite brand, other than like Typology and Merit are my favorite brands. But I just put a little bit of this highlighter stick on my nose, and like my eyes, almost like eyeshadow, like in the little corner of my eye and here. That doesn't really like show up a ton, but it's just enough to where I feel like I almost have eyeshadow on, but I don't, you know? And then this is like a newer product for me, but I love it. It's their little highlighter, like bronzer sticks. You just do like wherever you want, a little highlight contour. I just do it like there, and sometimes my chin bone. Anyways, back to the question. Tips for optimizing your time and finding balance with a newborn. So I just want to say, like, being a mom is your number one priority now. Like, not work, not house being clean, not girl boss goals, like nothing. Like, being a mom is your number one priority and your like goal in life. Everything like revolves around your child, like once you have them. That doesn't mean you can't like be a girl boss and like do all the things and like keep a clean house and whatever. Like, I definitely tried to do all of those things, but at the same time, like, Arlo is my number one priority, so I definitely always like prioritize him. But at the same time, like, I have to work, like I have to get brand deals, I have to like post content every day, because like I am like a fellow provider of our home, and like I help pay bills. And so I can't just like say like, oh, he's fussy today, let's sit on the couch and cuddle all day. Like, no, I have to edit YouTube, or I have to like film something for a brand, or I have to like apply to brand deals, or like do whatever. So that has been really hard for me, because like, and giving myself grace in that of like, okay, like I am working mom, like I have to work. It's not really like a choice for me right now, like, oh, I'll just take this brand deal because it sounds fun. Like, I'm pretty much like taking any brand deals that I get that align with like my values and stuff, because I just want to help provide for our family right now in the season that we're in, and I'm really thankful YouTube, Instagram, TikTok is allowing me to do that. But with that, I think it's a little bit different than some people, because I like have to navigate like taking time to work, which leaves even less time for myself. Like, sometimes it's hard when I look and I'm just like, wow, like if he's napping really good, I could work out or go on a walk or go tan on the beach or read a book or clean the house super well, like with this hour I have of him napping. But instead, like right now, I'm recording a YouTube video. Yesterday, I feel like he napped so good, but I was like editing YouTube the whole time, and it's just kind of one of those where it's like so much harder than I thought it would be to take time for myself, which I think any mom feels. But especially like being a working mom, I am like still navigating like, okay, how do I like make time for me too? Every once in a while, like this afternoon, I'm actually going to get a massage, because it's like I'm 14, 15 weeks postpartum. I have not gotten a massage since birth. and like my back from breastfeeding and giving birth and everything is so insanely tight. So that's kind of one of those things, especially with breastfeeding, you just have to like give yourself grace and say like, listen, I'm living with my husband, worst come to worst, I have a freezer stash. He is not going to die in the 2 hours that I am gone without milk. If he's crying a lot, like I hope he doesn't, but I will be back to feed him. And so just knowing like you don't want your baby to be upset and they are the top priority, but occasionally you do need to take time for yourself in order to care for them better. Like I'm in so much pain some nights, like laying in bed, certain positions, breastfeeding him, that I just hit this point where I was like, I need to go to a massage. Like I need to loosen my back up so that it's not as hard to feed him at night and I'm not laying in these weird positions in a ton of pain. So I think that's my tip. It's just like knowing your limits. And yes, postpartum, it might feel like you're just breaking every limit all the time, but just knowing that this is making you more selfless, it's making you a better mom. Yeah, they won't remember these days where you sacrifice like so much for them. Like they will have no idea, but you'll remember them. Like you'll always be their mom and just like know like those precious hours, like up all night with them, or like carrying them all day when your back is hurting, whatever. Like you sacrifice a lot for them, but it's because you are obsessed with them and love them so incredibly much. So I think that's my encouragement, is knowing like it is just a season. Like probably by the time your baby stops like not sleeping through the night and crying all the time or whatever it is, like you'll have another baby. But so like it might be a forever season if you're just popping out babies. But that's one reason I want to wait a little bit, is like just getting back to really feeling like myself while caring for Arlo sounds so fun. Like taking care of him when I'm not in pain sounds like, oh my gosh, that would be so much easier, because I've been in so much pain, like on and off the whole time I've been his mom, obviously. Yeah, even in pregnancy with SPD and stuff. So I'm just like really excited for when my postpartum complication things go away and I'm just like caring for him pain free, because then I'm like, I'll need less time for myself to go to PT, rehab, and whatever it might be. But yeah, it also helps because I have Casey at home working as well, so we like take turns. Like if I really need something, I can go do it. If you don't have that, like try to, you know, like reach out to grandma or a friend or a sister that you trust with your baby. I don't really trust anyone with my baby besides my mom and my husband. So if you are like, I can't go anywhere because my husband works and I don't have family near me, like that's really hard. And just acknowledging that and just trying to have the confidence to go out there with your baby and do the things that make you happy, like coffee with a friend, getting your nails done, try baby wearing. Like I know it's like feels impossible, but like just try. If they end up crying, worst come to worst, you leave and you go home. It's not like some crazy big deal. Like I know it feels embarrassing, but babies cry. It's how they tell us they need something, they want something, they're upset, whatever. You just gotta embrace it sometimes and go do things. So someone asked for a nursery tour, and I do want to do this. I think I might do a TikTok soon. I'm not gonna do it in this video, even though I am sitting in the nursery. It's very clean because I deep cleaned it last week, so it feels so cozy. Someone asked, did you experience any afterbirth contractions, and if so, how did you manage them? Also, this is like my final look, like I'm ready. This is my kind of like simple makeup look. It's almost like a no makeup look, other than like I did do a little bit of that Neutrogena foundation, but sometimes I'll wear mascara. Just today I'm not like filming a brand deal or anything, so I just wanted a very simple look. But I did experience afterbirth contractions, or I guess cramping is more how I would describe it. So your uterus continues to like contract or cramp. It kind of feels like bad period cramps after birth. Like I didn't feel initially too much because I had the epidural. I felt them even when I had the epidural, but it wasn't like insane until the epidural wore off, and then it was like, whoo, some of these hurt. Like I just had a heating pack at the hospital. I think that's my number one tip, is like have a heating pack. Even when we were home some, I would put the heating pack on, but they were not like excruciating. Like they hurt, but I'm like, you just went through birth, like everything's torn up down there. Like there's a lot of other painful things in my opinion going on that's like worse than that, but I hear it's worse with your second baby or third. Like after you've had one baby, your uterus contracting back down to its like size and stuff. So maybe the second one I'll be like, oh my gosh, this is awful. I don't know, but mine were not like too bad. It was just kind of like a week or two of on and off period cramps, especially when my milk would come in. Gosh, when your milk comes in, the cramps actually do get pretty painful. I'm like remembering as I say this, I'm like, actually it was pretty bad. But not something to be like nervous for. Like you're a woman, you've had periods, you can do it, it's okay. Asked about what type of workouts I did while I was pregnant. If you are new here, I actually had pretty bad SPD during pregnancy, so my like workouts were very limited in pregnancy, but I still was like super active in pregnancy. I'm just like very passionate about the more active you can be in pregnancy, the better you will feel, even though I didn't feel amazing. But I was also nauseous my whole pregnancy, and moving during first trimester was one of the only things that gave me any relief. I would still be nauseous, but like so much better than if I just laid on the couch inside all day, like trying to get in the sun or go to the gym, trying to get a lift in, whatever. But I pretty much only lifted during my pregnancy because around 17 weeks I got SPD and I like could not run because I'm a runner. If you're new here also, I ran like a little bit of mileage, not much at all, super slow until I was 17 weeks. And then I was like, I can't, like I could hardly walk after I got SPD. And I did get to walk more at the end of my pregnancy because I had some internal work done to help with my SPD. So I was able to go on some longer walks at the end of pregnancy, but I couldn't even go on like longer than 10-minute walks almost all my pregnancy. So that was really rough and really hard because I love walking and like cardio. I could do cycling. Cycling did not hurt my SPD. I do not know why, because you would think it would because it's like on all your bones down there, but cycling helped me. I loved it so much. So I would cycle once a week and do like 1 or 2 leg workouts a week and like 1 arm workout. So that was kind of like my typical workouts in pregnancy. I also couldn't do like lunges or any single leg stuff because it bothers SPD really bad. So I'd pretty much stick to like squats, some lighter deadlifts, arm stuff. I did a ton of pelvic floor core work with a PT. So that was kind of like my workout split and what that looked like. Someone actually asked about my SPD, how's your SPD progress? This has been a very, 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 very discouraging part of postpartum for me. And if you have SPD, I don't want to like scare you or discourage you if you're pregnant right now. But everyone I talk to, genuinely everyone I know is like, the second I had my baby, like 3 days after birth, like I couldn't feel it no matter what I did. Like my SPD was gone forever until I got pregnant again, or I didn't even get it in the next pregnancy or whatever. Mine is still like very bad some days. And even the first initial weeks postpartum, I remember like as soon as the epidural wore off, because I thought like it's gone, because I was taking ibuprofen at the hospital. And then when I got home, it was like excruciating again. And I was like, I just like would bawl my face off because I don't know how to describe it, and it depends on the level of SPD you had, but mine was insanely like excruciating almost all of pregnancy. And so like still having it, like I could cry on the spot right now. It's just this weird like phobia of that pain being chronic, and now that I still have it like 4 months postpartum, like I just like hyperventilate, like thinking about like what if I have this pain forever. And I'm just trying to not be like in fear of that, because I'm like, okay, God is my healer, and like I'm doing everything I can. Like I'm not hardly at all working out. I'm only doing things that are cleared by my PT, being consistent with my PT every day. So it's really the progress. I have gotten internal work done postpartum to help with some of my scar tissue from the tearing, and hopefully loosen up all the muscles and things in my pelvic floor for the SPD, and that has helped a little. So I think it's just a time game. Everyone says like relaxing gets out of your body so quick, but it actually takes 5 to 6 months for it to get like very, very, very like out of your body. So I have scoliosis and 2 torn hip cartilages from running in college. Well, scoliosis I was born with, but the hip socket things from college. And so the chiropractor said like I'm just predisposed to like worse SPD because of that, I guess. I don't know. My sister-in-law gets it too, and she had like some pelvic thing in college. They told her like that's why she had it, whatever. So if you're predisposed to it, like that's why it can be so bad. But I don't know why I still have it postpartum. So I've been very discouraged about that, but it honestly is teaching me so much about having joy in the midst of pain, which I feel like I'm already like kind of good at, because I had so many injuries in college and had to like fight to like be positive through that. But I'm definitely like ready to not be in pain. Like I said earlier, I just want to take care of Arlo and not be in a ton of pain. Cause yeah, so that's kind of the update on my SPD, just really prayers that it would get better. Someone asked if I'm using formula. No, I'm exclusively breastfeeding, but I have like bought a couple formula brands. So we had A2. I did a campaign with them on TikTok because they use a specific type of protein that's easier on baby stomachs. So I want to post resources for moms who are formula feeding, and I have always wanted to have a good formula on hand as like an emergency backup. You know, like you just never know, and you want your baby to be fed, and there's cases where formula sells out or like crazy things happen, you don't know. So I think it's good to have formula on hand just in case you need it. We had A2, and then we actually just got By Heart because I heard better things about them because they're grass fed, like their formula is grass-fed cows for whole milk, whatever. But I am just breastfeeding. He doesn't take formula, but we have it like just in case we need it, if that makes sense. Someone said, can you talk more about your infertility journey? So I don't love to like dwell on this because now, like, praise God, I am a mom, and I definitely will always like have such a heart for people and empathy for people going through this. But I feel like it's not something I want to like keep making videos about all the time, because during the miscarriages I almost feel like I made too much content about it. Like I was just sharing what's on my heart and like what I was going through, but sometimes I look back and I'm like, maybe I should have like Like, I think I took enough time to process before I shared things, but at the same time, sometimes I'm like, I don't love that I like videoed myself crying, or like little things like that, you know. I'm just like, maybe I would have done that differently. But I do have a lot of videos from last year around this time, like on trying to conceive, Chatty positive, yada yada. So definitely, if you're going through that, like, go watch those videos and know, like, my heart is for you and with you. And I just don't want to be someone who does have their baby and still be like talking about, like, I don't know, like, how hard everything was, because I'm on the other side of that miracle and I'm just so grateful. And yes, it was insanely hard, especially with the losses, but at the same time, like, I want to focus on the good right now. And so I kind of just like point people back to my previous videos. I have videos on like what I changed in this pregnancy with Arlo versus my miscarriages. I have videos on like 19-20 months of trying to conceive Q&A and different things like that. So just go back on my channel to around this time last year, like May, June, and a little before that, and you'll see like all of those videos. And then I also made TikToks, Instagram posts, all the things around that time. So you can go back and watch those if you are currently struggling and want someone to kind of relate to through that. I actually see like so many people asking like about vitamins in pregnancy, vitamins postpartum, what prenatal did you take, like, and I always in every description of my video have my prenatal. It's now my postnatal, but Parallel is the brand that I took. I'll have it once again linked in the description. I think my code's Shultis15, but I have used their supplements, bought their supplements throughout pregnancy and postpartum. They are OBGYN formulated, but they're kind of a brand that in my opinion is doing things differently. Like, their sourcing and where they get their vitamins, it's just like very like trustable. I fully trust them. They're the prenatal I decided to take after the losses with Arlo, because I was just like, everything about this stands out as like better, like has methylated folate instead of folic acid, and just so many things that even most OBGYNs like don't know is better for you, because it's not what they're taught in school. And I just had to learn for my own because of everything I went through with the losses. So anyways, I would definitely recommend Parallel. Like I said, I always link them in the description. They have a preconception vitamin if you're thinking about trying to conceive soon. Totally recommend taking that to set you up for a healthy pregnancy and baby and everything. They have first trimester, second trimester, third trimester. I feel like that's so cool that they have specific trimester vitamins, because your body has such different needs in each trimester. And then also postnatal, tons of different stuff, but I'll have it linked in the description. That's my top recommendation. I'm gonna do a whole video on like every supplement I took in pregnancy, why it helped, and every supplement postpartum eventually, but that's like my top recommendation is that brand. I also am getting so many questions about breastfeeding, which I feel like I talked about it a lot, but my biggest advice would be like, don't be scared of breastfeeding. Don't shy away from the cluster feeding. Like, do it. Go through the hard. Like, if your baby's not gaining weight and like something's just really not going right, you've tried all the options, all the things, feed them formula. Like, your baby needs to be gaining weight, eating, like, you know. But at the end of the day, like I said, I literally was like screaming at my husband, crying, like, he's not getting enough. This is not okay. On like week 4 of psychotic cluster feeding, and now he's cluster feeding again. So it's like, there will be really hard trying times with breastfeeding where you feel like you can't do it, or you feel like it's not supposed to like be this way, like I don't have enough milk or whatever, but like keep trying, like exhaust all your options. I feel like a lot of people who don't regret it, I'm not saying you should regret it, but I think a lot of people do. I know people who have like not breastfed their first and like seriously regretted it and stuff, and it is hard, but it's so worth it, and it's so good for your baby. But like I said, like there's nothing wrong with formula. I listed those 2 brands, A2 and ByHeart. I'll have ByHeart linked in the description for anyone who does need a formula, because they are my top recommendation if you are going to be formula feeding. But just try to tough it out. That's like my top advice for breastfeeding, is like keep trying all your options until it's like, all right, my baby needs food, like let's do formula, you know. So that, and then we're almost to the top. Let's see, your top 5 registry items. There were also a ton of questions on here about postpartum items that you need, baby registry, all the things. And like I said with supplements, I want to do a whole video on this when I get time, and like everything. I feel like I've got a gist of like, okay, these are the baby products you need. I actually did an Amazon live on this with all my favorite products from Amazon linked. And obviously there are some products like not on Amazon and stuff, but almost all of them are on Amazon that I like loved having postpartum, and with Arlo in general, everything he needs like on my registry. So I have that linked in the description as well. It's on my Amazon storefront under the lives section. Maybe I'll move it up and just say like Amazon live registry so you can click it. But that has like all my favorite products linked there, and some of them are like on big sale right now because I did that live last week. But that's all I'm gonna answer for now. I feel like all of that was about postpartum, like no life stuff. Sorry, my hair one was the only one I answered about that. But I'm getting better at Q&As. I'm trying to like do them more. I feel like I'm just such a vlog-based girly. I just love vlogging our life. I'm not good. I love talking, but I'm not good about just like sitting down and answering questions and being like organized with a video like this. So y'all comment if you like these videos or what kind of videos you want to see more of, because I do want to be better about sit down videos to answer specific questions that y'all have. It's just not like what comes first to my mind. I'm a vlogging girly at heart. So hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I hope that it gave someone good advice or relatability or whatever during this season. And all the makeup products I use and stuff like Typology and Merit will also be linked in the description if you want to check any of those out. But thank you guys for watching, and hope you have a great rest of your day or night or morning, whatever time of day you're watching this. I'm gonna go make a fun drink because I think Casey got Arlo back down to sleep, which is king energy of him. So yeah, very thankful. He's an amazing dad. Dad does so freaking good with Arlo. Honestly, need to do a Q&A with him. Let me know if that would be fun. I need to bring Casey more into the content, honestly. He's amazing. But I hope you guys enjoyed this once again. Have a great rest of your day, and see you next week for another video.